Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 8. So Module 8 is the halfway point of the semester. We are also moving on to our first essay assignment. So you will be learning more about moving from a paragraph length assignment to an essay length assignment. And you will be introduced to your next major writing assignment, which will be the process essay. So I'll just show you kind of what you'll be working on. You've got 3 assignments that are all written, so it may take you just a little bit longer to complete this module. Just keep that in mind for those of you who prefer a little bit more variety. This module is just going to have, it's going to be a little bit more writing than normal. So the first thing that you're going to do is take a look at this chapter from the textbook, chapter 14, which tells us about the process of writing an essay, and you're going to complete a practice assignment from it. So you have 3 practices that you will complete. So this chapter really just goes over, this is kind of the beginning of it. It goes over what an essay looks like and kind of the differences between and what an essay will look like versus what the paragraph looked like. So it will kind of talk about, how we had a topic sentence for a paragraph level assignment. Now that becomes a thesis statement. And then your examples that you might have included in a paragraph will then become, each one becomes a body paragraph. And then we get a conclusion paragraph. So I know a lot of you probably have written essays before, and so this should feel pretty normal or natural to kind of move from something real short to really expanding it out to this essay form. So what you'll be doing is the practice exercises from here. The practice exercises are specifically, I picked ones that I thought would be most useful for you. Practice number 3 is about thesis statements. And so you'll be looking there. You'll look at narrowing topics and then doing the thesis statement questions, like revising the thesis statements to make them more specific. And then you have practice 4, which is looking at narrowed subject controlling idea in the thesis. And then practice 7 is to write out some topics, sentences to support your thesis. So you are going to be kind of moving through these practice exercises using the textbook. And so I'm just expecting you to read the directions, read the information in the book that kind of goes with it, and then creating your answers on a Word document and turning it in. So it's just a Word document. If you have questions about it, you can always email me, but most of you did the practice assignments that we did earlier in the semester and did just fine with them. So we're just more practice out of the book. So then the next part of this unit is really just taking a look at our next essay, our next major writing assignment, which is an essay. And the process essay is going to, I like to start with this one because I feel like most students see it as a little bit easier to write, especially the organization of it. So you're going to pick a topic that you can do what's called a process explanation with. That is something that has to be completed in a series of steps. The same steps are used each time with the same outcome being the result. And so a process is anything that we complete using the same steps. And that is the biggest issue that students have with this essay, is just picking the right topic, because sometimes they'll pick football as their topic, and football is not a process. You could pick a specific aspect of football, but it has to be something where you do the exact same thing or almost the same thing every single time and with the same result. And so, if it's a particular drill in football, yes, that might be able to work, but otherwise you can't just do football as your topic. So some really popular topics tend to be favorite recipes. Make sure this is something complex enough to write about, like mashed potatoes is probably not complex enough. unless you have some super secret mashed potato recipe. Typically, if there's only maybe 2 or 3 steps, it's not complicated enough. But something like tamales might be complicated enough, because that's a process that might take a series of steps over a longer period of time. It takes a little bit longer, it's a little bit more complicated. A care maintenance process, I get a lot of tire changes, oil changes, things like that. So that would be a good topic to consider. Something that you do at work, I get quite a few of those as well. It might be, you know, your clothing, you have to close at work every day, and so you go through the same process for your job to close down the building. It might not be interesting, but you definitely can use it. You might find it boring. A process that you had to learn to complete a special purpose. So maybe you had a hole in the drywall and you had to fix it. Maybe you have, I don't know, some painting that you did that you have a special process for. So it's something that you had to learn in order to complete it. And then another option might be an application process that you went through. All of these are things that you have experience with. So like I just renewed my passport. So I know the process that I went through and I can explain that. But if I'd never gotten my passport before, that would not be a good topic for me, because I'd have to look up all that information. So make sure that you are choosing a topic that you have some good experience with. Whether you completed it one time or many times doesn't really matter. It's actually just that you have that experience. So the essay itself is going to be explaining the process, and that's why it needs to be pretty complex, because you don't want something that you did 2 steps and that's it, like I'm like mowing your lawn or something. Unless you are a landscaping person from a landscaping business, then you might have more steps. But the average person mowing their lawn gets out their lawnmower and mows their lawn. That's it. So you want to make sure that you have something that you can really get into the why you do it this way, why the steps are in this order, and that kind of thing. So you've got at least 3 primary steps with a bunch of sub-steps underneath. And then you include a lot of personal experience. The hardest part of writing the essay is not using a set of instructions where you address the reader as you. And that's the most common writing issue that students have. So once you're kind of understanding the assignment pretty well, then you can do the brainstorm and writing plan just like we've done before. There's one additional part now that we have moved past paragraph writing. You're also going to have a thesis statement. So for this one, you have your brainstorm, which is your free write. You'll answer the questions for your writing plan, and then the third part is to write out a thesis statement. I have 3 template sentences here. Don't write one for each. I want you to just pick one and then type out one thesis statement. I have students all the time, they do all 3. You're not going to have 3 sentences in a row that say the same thing. You want to make sure that you have just one single thesis. So then the last thing in this module is actually a midpoint semester reflection, because we are at the halfway point. This reflection just asks you about your goals for the class, whether or not you're meeting them, how you're doing, if there's anything that I can do to help you. And then if you were to give yourself a grade right now, what would it be? And so that's just kind of giving us a checkpoint in the middle of the semester to see how we're doing. And then you also have the option to take the midpoint survey for 5 points extra credit. It is anonymous, and I just give you 5 points for doing it. And it just kind of helps me if there's any issues in the class that I'm not aware of. I can make some adjustments if I need to, if there were any problems that you can give me some feedback on. So hopefully you are doing well. Have a great week.